It was Michelangelo who once said, "Every block of stone has a statue inside it, and it is the task of the sculptor to discover it." Centuries later, sculptors still chisel by those words, using techniques similar to those used by the brilliant Michelangelo so many years ago. A lifelike image emerges from stone, and that well-chiseled look is the result of a lot of planning and posing. The artist first molds the subject in clay, which allows him to capture his impressions quickly. His clay model is the sculptural equivalent of a painter's sketch. Clay also allows him to make changes that would be impossible once carved in stone. When the prototype is complete, the artist is ready to choose a stone. The search leads to this quarry in the hills of northern Italy, where they've been extracting white Carrara marble for centuries. A long saw on a track makes a horizontal incision in the bottom of the rock face. Once this undercut is complete, the operation moves to the top of the stone. A machine pulls a loop of diamond cable down through the rock to cut the back of the slab. A constant spray of water cools the cable and flushes the cut. When the two cuts intersect, this marble slab is ready to be extracted. Equipment gently tips it onto a soft pile of dirt, intact. The supervisor gives the slab a production number and draws lines to indicate how it should be cut to prepare it for sculpting. Once cut down to size, it's into the studio, where it's positioned beside a plaster version of a clay model. With calipers, an artisan measures the proportions of the plaster cast and transfers them to the marble slab. His pencil marks define the main mass and outer limits of the form that's to be sculpted. This artist chips away big chunks of the stone to give the rough size and shape of the plaster model. The penciled measurements ensure that he doesn't chip away too much and destroy the slab. Once the general shape has been achieved, it's time for the detail work. The sculptor measures the plaster prototype with a tool called a pointing machine. He transfers the measurements to the marble sculpture, ensuring that all the details will be to the correct scale. Of course, pointing tools can only show the artist where to carve. There's no substitute for skill. With a pneumatic chisel, the artist shapes the foot of the figure. Next, the artist switches to a series of rasps and files so he can shape the smaller details and eliminate any chisel marks. The fingers require a gentle approach. They're delicate and could easily be broken. It takes about 4 months for a sculpture to go from the rough form to the finished. And now for the final touches. He rubs oxalic acid into the marble. This seals it and protects it from stains, but also gives the sculpture a polished look. The result is a translucent effect that gives the sculpture visual depth. Like ghosts in the attic, there's an incredible array of plaster casts on the studio's upper floor. Many of them are replicas of famous classical works. They're all on standby to serve as prototypes for sculptural reproductions. And once these images are carved in stone, they should live on forever.